yadu. Bari papa, bari 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 biri stendelan delando ya bari papa, bari 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 biri 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 stendelando. Dilandi na de yalo gera 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 guru guru yadu. Dilandi na de yalo gera 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 guru guru yadu. Yadu yadu. Bari papa, bari bari bila bari stendelan delando ya bari papa, bari 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 biri 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 stendelan.
Shut up and sit down.
And now, streaming live from the sunny Southern California coast, this is Options Uncensored.
Hey everyone, I'm Steve. Welcome to Options Uncensored. We're making real option trades in real time together. Let's get right into it. First things first, make sure you have your brokerage account open so you can follow along. Make sure you have your YouTube video quality set as high as possible. That way you can read the numbers a whole lot easier. Have a calculator on hand so we can do some easy math. If you have a question or a stock you want to go over, leave it in the comment section. We'll do it live together. And finally, remember, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's get into our open positions. First up, we've got a T-bill auction later today, so just ignore this one. Boeing, underwater a lot. Try to roll it for a credit. Oh, we can. Let's try it. Rolling it for 0. This will cost us nothing. Rolling it to January. We've tried to roll this now for a couple days. It hasn't gotten filled. IWM's up $3. Short call spread on the Russell 2000. Roku, same thing. Was bouncing back. All these were coming back yesterday. We'll see what happens tomorrow after the jobs report. That'll really define the direction. Okay? SPY, same thing, down a little bit, but we're still stuck in this range. We had our Micron position closed yesterday. Let's review that one. Here's a chart of Micron. I can't remember, somewhere around here we opened up a short call spread. We sold the 77.5 and bought the 80. So it went into the money. The short strike went into the money for a bit here. Came back, we made our money. So we made $18 and we risked 250. So 18 divided by 250, that was a 7.2% return. All right, not bad at all. Let's move on. Let's see if we can find some new opportunities today. First up will be Chewy, CHWY. This is a post-earnings move. Gap down, but it's already rallying back. Hitting some support right here. Overall, though, not that great of a chart. Jeez. We're hanging out at all-time lows, so keep that in mind. Don't know where support could be going forward. For January expiration on the put side, skip the put side on the call side. Skip the call side as well. Next is AI. Believe this is post earnings as well. Yes, yesterday after the close. Here's your chart. Same thing. Big move down. Could catch some support here. If you sold the 20, bought the 15, what do you get? 38 minus 5 divided by 2 divided by 500, 3.3%. Skip the put side. On the call side, if you sold the 32.5 and bought the 37.5, that's 60 minus 23 divided by 2 and divided by 500, 3.7% there. So no move. Everything was priced into the options market. All right, moving on. GameStop post earnings, hardly any movement. So what you're going to have is the volatility sucked out. Both sides are red. Nothing to do here on the put side. Call side, if you sold the 20 and bought the 25, let's check it out. 69 minus 38 divided by 2 divided by 500, 3% there. So no movement, pretty much a flat move. Nothing. Next is Square, SQ, formerly, this is now Block. We've been following this one for a bit, gapped up after earnings, and had this big move straight up. Looking at the call side, if you sold the 77.5 and bought the 82.5, that's 110 minus 57 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5.3% on the nose. Okay, it's not bad, it's not great. On the put side, selling the 57.5 and buying the 52.5, that's 64 minus 25 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4% there. So we're going to skip this one. Next up is AMD. AMD had some big news about doing deals with Microsoft and other companies buying their chips instead of NVIDIA. So they're up almost 5% today. Their earnings are January 30th, so that's after this expiration for January. Here's the chart. No clear direction. Same thing, they had this big move up after earnings. It's kind of tailed off, so there's hardly any volatility priced in. On the call side, you'd have to sell the 140 and buy the 145. It's a little far out though. 109 minus 63 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4.6 there. No bueno. On the put side, same thing. You'd have to sell the 105. It's kind of far out too. And buy the 100. 84 minus 47 divided by 2 divided by 500, 3.7 there. Moving on. Southwest Air. Love. Up 5% today. I don't remember what the news was though. Earnings are the 25th of January. They earned a merit award. This seems to be moving on no news. All right. It's approaching the 200 day. That's interesting. Just a rocket ship. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of green. On the call side, 32.5 is too close, and the 35 is too far out. On the put side, you'd have to sell the 25. You just don't get paid for it. Close. No cigar. Next. Google. Earnings are February 1st. Don't know what the news was, but they're moving. Here's our chart. Same thing. It's kind of in no man's land here. Just been chopping around since July in this range here. Call side. If you sold the 149 and bought the 155, that's 108 minus 45 divided by 2 divided by 600, 5.2% there. Let's take a look at GOOGL. Same thing, call side. Does it beat 5.2? If you sold the 147.5 and bought the 152.5, that's 107 minus 51 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5.6. You get paid a little bit more right here. Where's 147.5 on the chart? Right here. That seems awfully close. That's not even an all-time high. So we'll mark this one. Maybe come back. Next, ALB. Yikes, so maybe now it's time to sell a call spread. It's down so much. I think it can make its way down to 99. Okay. Earnings are February 14th. Call side here. If you sold the one for, nah, never mind. 2 liquid. You've got a 25-cent spread here. Same thing here on the 150. Skip this one. Next, let's look at the home builders. I think they're hitting an all-time high today, which is bizarre for this point in the cycle. Goodness. All right, so we got an all-time high. Let's look at the call side. Got some volatility here. That's good. If we sold the 94, not a lot of volume here. We're gonna have to skip this one, even though we're at an all-time high. Let's look at Toll Brother really quick. TOL. They're 2-way liquid. Wow. They're at an all-time high as well. And they just had earnings. You'd have to sell the 100, and there's a 20-cent spread with hardly any volume. What about Lennar, LEN? Their earnings are the 14th, so we'll come back afterwards. What about DR Horton? January 24th are their earnings. Interesting. We've got some time. They are at an all-time high as well. Yes. No volume. No good. Moving on. Let's look at the TLT. Down slightly today. Getting close to the 200-day. Again, we should have a lot of movement tomorrow after the jobs report. GLD. Gold is up slightly again today. Let's look at the call side. If you sold the 197 and bought the 205, that's a $700 spread. 118 minus 41 divided by 2 divided by 700, only 5.5. So selling the call side is not worth it anymore. Put side, maybe? No. Skip the put side on gold. Let's look at a firm AFRM. Earnings are in February. On the call side, if you sold the 50 and bought the 55, that's 114 minus 68 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4.6. I think we're going to take a firm off the list. All right, let's go to our IV rank scanner, and we will sort by volume. IWM still has some volatility. Let's take a look at it. We have our short call spread here. On the call side for January, same thing. Sell the 197 and buy. See if you bought the 205. What do you get? It's a $700 spread. 119 minus 40 divided by 2 divided by 700, 5.6. That's not as good. If you did the same one that I'm in, what do you get? 119 minus 79 divided by 2 divided by 300, 6.6% there. So the tighter spread makes more money. That's usually the case anyway. I'm happy with where I'm at. On the put side, although I wouldn't want to sell the put side here. Sell the 173 and buy the 168. That's 116 minus 66 divided by 2 divided by 500. Only 5% there. So sell the call side. You get paid more. All right, back to the list. GameStop we already looked at. TLT we already checked out. IYR, I don't know this one. Real estate ETF. This looks fun. Down, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and then guess probably another lower high. This is just following interest rates. Let's look at the call side for January. If you sold the 92, you're not going to get paid for it. You'd have to buy the 94. 31 minus 12 divided by 2 divided by 200, not even 5%. Put side maybe? You get paid more on the put side. That makes sense. Sell the 81, buy the 76. It's 61 minus 18 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4.3%. No bueno. Next. The TQQ JetBlue is only a $5 stock. We'll skip that. Chewy, we went over. SoFi, Robinhood, Nikola, Rivian, Kenvue, no thank you. Let's take a look at Rivian really quick. Up 2%. Earnings are February, end of February. Great. Chart. In no man's land. It can make a claim that it can keep going up, or it could be hitting a new... I don't know, man. Let's look at the put side, actually, on this one. 15 is too close. Let's move on. Kenvue, no. Carnival, no. PayPal, maybe. PYPL. Earnings for PayPal are February. Great. No news, just down 2%. It's had its earnings report and just had this slow move upwards. Let's look at the put side here. If you sold the 52.5 and bought the 47.5, that's 62. Minus 18 divided by 2 divided by 500, 4.4. Skip the put side, not worth it. Call side. 65 is awfully close. If you sold the 65 and bought the 70, that's 91. Got good liquidity here. This is great. Minus 36 divided by 2 divided by 500. 5.5 there too. I'd skip the call side. Next on the list, GDX. Stick to GLD. Walgreens has earnings in 3-4 weeks. American Airlines, we already looked at Southwest. Skip that. The KRE. Interesting. We're in this channel where we've had a low, another higher low. We've had this high, anticipating another high somewhere around 54-ish. So if we can get up to 54, then I'd sell a call spread. I don't know if I'd want to sell the call spread yet. Let's see who pays more. How about that? On the put side, if you sold the 43 and bought the 40, it's 42. Minus 16 divided by 2 divided by 300, 4.3. Remember, this is an ETF and there are no earnings coming up till mid to late January. On the call side, if you sold the 53 and bought 56, that's 47 minus 18 divided by 2 divided by 300, just shy of 5% there. 53 on the chart. 53. What did I say before for? 54. I'd want to move past 53. There was a quick move to make here if you sold something, sold the call side on the 14th, and over the course of these couple of days, you probably would have been out of the trade, hitting the 200 day. So that's interesting. Let's move on. Riot, $15 stock. The GLD, we already looked at the GLD. Like I said, you'd want to sell the call side and you don't get paid for it anymore. The move's already been made. We missed it. Pfizer. San Antonio thing. Next page. XBI. I think we have a position already open. XBI. Yeah, just straight move up. Should hit resistance soon here. Somewhere around 81 or so. We're very close. But if you want to open something today on the call side for January, sell the 88 and buy the 93. Let's do the math on that one. That's 95 minus 37 divided by 2 divided by 500. 5.8%. If I wasn't in the trade right now, I'd open that one for sure. Sell the 88, buy the 93. Good liquidity here too. I'm the 85.90. Where's 85 on the chart? 85 is right here, so my short strike is still way out of the money. And we got 43 days till expiration. Doesn't mean it can't get there. Next. Dollar General, we already looked at. Delta, we looked at Southwest. Let's look at Delta. Up almost 4% today. Hanging out in no man's land. We've had this big move up, this big move down, and now it's kind of rebalanced. So there's no clear direction here. Earnings for the airlines are early January. So we're going to pass on this one just because in this expiration, there will be earnings volatility included. Moving on. Spirit will skip. Southwest we already looked at, up 5% today. Emerging market ETF, we can check that one out. EEM. Same thing. No clear movement. It's right at the 200-day. A lot of these stocks, and especially the ones that are interest rate sensitive, are waiting for the jobs report tomorrow. So we'll have a lot clearer direction, I anticipate. I mean, if you look at the SPY, it's been stuck in this range, just barely moving for a couple of weeks now. We should have some definitive direction tomorrow after the jobs report, and I think we have CPI next week as well. So expiration for a lot of these are next Friday, and we'll go over how to handle some of these losses. Okay? We still have a chance of rolling. UNG, Nat Gas, we'll skip. Beyond Meat, no thank you. Nike has earnings on the 21st. Lilly, they'll also be in the San Antonio conference. Same with Pfizer. USO. Let's take a look at oil. We haven't looked at oil yet today. Big drop yesterday. Selling off slightly today. Could catch some good support here. If not, between here and 61.5, 61-ish. On the put side for USO. Sell the 58 and buy the 53. That's 86 minus 34 divided by 2 divided by 500, 5.2% there. Let's check out XOP, see if it beats 5.2%. Yeah, 125-ish. Could catch support around 125. A little early here. On the put side, if you sold, this all makes sense. If you sold the 120 and bought the 115, 134 minus 75 divided by 2 divided by 500, almost 6% there. So skip USO, sell the XOP. The 120 strike. 120 is down here. It should catch a bid somewhere around 125, but 120 is also a good one. You've got lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and lower low. So if you get a bounce around 125, if now you get more subsequent bounces here. So there's a sort of like some buying will happen. But we do have lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and lower highs. So we could be making a big move down. If we are heading into recession, oil will head down with it. Less demand. Back to the list. End phase will skip. Haven't traded in a while. Plug will skip. Peloton will skip. Novo. We'll skip it. Costco has earnings coming up. DocuSign is today after the close, so we'll follow up tomorrow after the close. Sorry, we'll follow up tomorrow morning after the earnings report. Next page. Lululemon, today after the close as well. Nokia. Micron, So we just finished our trade on Micron yesterday. Still has some volatility. I'm not so sure I want to get back into it yet, though. So we closed our trade yesterday, made our money. I don't know if I'd want to open, maybe sell something on the put side around, you gotta wait till it gets around 66 or so. Put side, yeah, you'd want to sell the 67.5, that makes sense. Let's take a look. If you sold the 67.5 and bought the 62.5, you're definitely going to get paid for it. 101 minus 38 divided by 2 divided by 500. Yeah, 6.3%. So if you sold the put side, you definitely get paid for it. I just don't know if I want to get back into it yet. 67.5. 67.5 is right here. That makes sense. Seems very fairly priced. I'll say that. Moving on. Moderna. They're probably at the conference as well. No, an ESG investor event. Let's check out Moderna mRNA. Down 2% today. Put side looks interesting, actually. If you sold the 65 and bought the 60, 65 is awfully close, though. 140 minus 72 divided by 2 divided by 500, almost 7% there. You're getting paid to take the risk. Buy the put coverage for sure. Don't do cash secured. 65 on the chart. 65 is right about here. I don't know if I'd want to take this one. You're getting paid for it. Next. Sunrun, no. Bitcoin ETF, no. Nope. Boyle. Bristol Myers is on the list. On the 16th, the U.S. FDA accepted Bristol Myers Squibbs. Blah, 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 blah. Let's take a look at BMY. Earnings are February 2nd, so this is post-earnings. Oh, sorry. Earnings are post-expiration. Should catch a bid around the COVID lows. Wow. Somewhere around. Actually, this may be catching the bid here. Let's look at the put side here. Down big, man. If you sold the 46 and bought the 43, 46, you're not going to get paid for it. 39 minus 13 divided by 2 divided by 300, 4.3%. Skip the put side. The call side, nothing to do here. You'd have to sell the 55 and you don't get paid for it. Anything else here? All right, we're going to go to one more list and then call it for today. Volatility list. The 90-day. Coinbase, we already looked at. Cold Zoom. Let's take a look at Zoom. Earnings for Zoom are February 26th. Okay, good. Just been very range bound here for almost the entire year. Call side. You'd have to sell the 80. That's too close for me. Put side. Skip the put side. DocuSign, Carvana. We'll look at DocuSign, Carvana, and then call it for today. Earnings are coming up the 7th. We'll check in after earnings. CVNA. Up 2%. Earnings are until end of February. Great. Kind of in no man's land here. Call side. If you sold the call side, if you sold, you'd have to sell the 52.5 and buy the 57.5. That's 155 minus 106 divided by 2 divided by 500. 5% there. Put side. You sold the 25 and bought the 20. 72 minus 27 divided by 2 divided by 500. 4.5% there. All right. We should have some clear direction tomorrow after the jobs report. Hopefully a lot of these losers will turn back into winners. We've got a long way to go on Boeing and Roku. Trying to roll Boeing. I don't know if it's going to happen. Same thing with Roku. There's some funny stuff we can try by adding more, averaging down in the position. We'll know. I'll know more after tomorrow, after the jobs report, what we'll do. But again, we haven't had any losses the entire year, so this will be the first. We made it all the way to December, but we did have our Micron position closed yesterday. Made our money. Congratulations if you were in on that one. But we'll see you all tomorrow morning after the jobs report. We go live every morning, 7:15 a.m. on the West Coast, 10:15 a.m. on the East Coast. Tell your friends who are also trading options to tune in and subscribe. Have a good one. See you all tomorrow morning.